NORAD says the U.S. and Canada will not be intimidated by these attacks.
Yeah, that's right, James and Heather, but NORAD is stepping up security. It has increased the number of planes ready to respond to any problems in Canada or anywhere else in North America. The Canadian Prime Minister calls it a reminder that Canada is not immune to terror.
I look across the street and there's a man with a rifle shooting at a bunch of people.
Couldn't believe that something like this could just happen or be real.
The gunfire started at Canada's National War Memorial. Corporal Nathan Cirillo, seen here in a photo with a visitor earlier this week, was killed while standing guard. Then panic inside the Parliament. Lawmakers inside a caucus room try to protect themselves, piling up chairs in front of the door. The Canadian Sergeant-at-Arms is credited with killing one suspected gunman. But there could be more people involved and more attacks planned. That's why NORAD is on high alert, defending the airspace above North America. Security has also been increased at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington, Virginia.
Obviously, we're all shaken by it, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're standing side by side with Canada during this difficult time.
And in a statement tonight, the commander of NORAD and U.S. Northcom says both Canada and the U.S. are safer because of their partnership. Reporting live in studio, Rana Novini, KRDO News Channel 13.
Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We are shaking our collective heads as NORAD is capable of rolling planes out when the Americans weren't capable of doing it at 9/11.
One guy with a rifle, that's pretty much of an overreaction to that. Maybe they thought that ISIS was coming over the polar ice caps. I don't know.
Yes, but that's why we do what we do. This is Video Radio, independent media.
For an intelligent world.
And we are taking a look at some of the, well, rather bizarre incidences surrounding this incident.
And one of the questions we have to ask is, how was the gunman able to penetrate security at our House of Parliament?
Yeah, indeed. Well, we got a clip. Check it out.
He had deadly intent, cold-blooded resolve, but it was insufficient security that allowed him to run right in the front door of Parliament. The attack started behind the War Memorial. Corporal Cirillo shot in the back. From here, the shooter ran to a car, sped up the street. Once on the hill, as that dramatic video shows, he commandeered a ministerial car and drove to the front door. The shooter was able to charge right through these doors, brandishing his gun. A guard inside, unarmed, pulled the gun down, got shot in the foot, yelled, "Gun, gun," alerting others. The shooter went on. This is where experts suggest security did not meet the level of threat.
We've got what some folks call the single point of defense, which in the military we used to refer to as a single point of failure.
No double-layered defense, putting physical space between a visitor and entry.
So there should be at least a standoff distance of 10, 20, 30 feet, where the person first approaches the main entryway, they're brought into a funneled area, they're contained, and then they can be addressed. Then they're allowed to go through the detector.
Today, the House of Commons guards packed guns. That could be one enduring change. The Minister of Justice acknowledged potential others. The problem is balance between an open, inviting Parliament and menacing threat.
We can't allow that openness and freedom to be rolled back either. We have to continue to defend both.
In the past, MPs have resisted more robust security, but barricaded behind doors yesterday, they may react differently now. Another fault line, 4 separate security details: Ottawa Police, RCMP, House of Commons, and Senate Security. No amount of scrubbing can rub out yesterday's horror. With bullet holes inside the Hall of Honour, government can't afford not to make changes on Parliament Hill.
Okay, so I took a look at some editorials, and one of the ones that I caught was in Maclean's magazine when they said, maybe we should start opening up Parliament. Maybe that might make the right statement.
Or maybe we should install, a metal detector.
Or maybe we should get out of other countries we don't belong in.
That could be a good idea.
I mean, that might have solved the problem to start with, but you can't explain that to racist fascists who are in power. Now,
one thing we might be taking a look at is how our security might be ramped up. And they're talking about what London did after the 7/7 bombings.
Yes, and there was some major, massive nonsense. Bill C-13 falls in lines with the UK's surveillance bill. So let's take a look at this.
Machine guns, blast barriers, and iron gates. Welcome to the fortress that is the British Parliament. Is this what Canadians can soon expect?
It's prevalent all over the world now, and I guess, unfortunately, Canada's just found that out.
Outside Canada's High Commission in London, the Maple Leaf flies at half-mast, but no armed guards or barriers, not yet. This is the case, though, down the street at the U.S. Embassy. American diplomats have long been terrorist targets. On top of tight security, Britain is fighting terrorism on another battlefield, online, and it's for the hearts and minds of the country's youth. In response to the Islamic State's slick recruitment videos, the UK is targeting vulnerable individuals who could be radicalized into waging terror.
ISIS will kill you.
Hanif Kadir, a former jihadist himself, is on a mission to save British youth from the extremist propaganda.
The only way to tackle this problem is doing exactly the same as they're doing, but only a little bit better.
Not in my name.
Kadir encourages young British Muslims to speak out on social media against ISIS and its ideology of hate. But those who are seduced by terror groups can be detained for up to 14 days without charge under the UK Terrorism Act. It used to be for 28 days. The debate over whether Canada needs similar legislation will no doubt soon begin. UK authorities have also stepped up their electronic surveillance program, eavesdropping on suspected extremists, with over 500 Brits traveling to Syria to join ISIS.
Many have returned, and many will wish to do so in the coming months and perhaps in the future years.
Meaning security in the British capital will remain high. Stuart Greer, Global News, London.
Okay, so while we don't sit in a closet
and hide from, lone gunmen.
Yes, indeed. We are talking about how they are blowing us out of proportion and getting all the fascist measures, the surveillance that they want.
But our dear leader was very quick to label this Islamic terrorist or ISIL-inspired.
Yes, and it's kind of ludicrous to say that it was when it wasn't. But couple clips here, yes?
Yep, one from CBC and one from Russia Today, actually.
Okay, check it out.
Never before seen. Gunfire in Canada's Parliament early Wednesday morning, and Ottawa, the capital, was on total lockdown. Witnesses said they heard up to 30 shots fired inside the building, which ended when the House of Commons Sergeant of Arms shot the gunman dead. Identified as Canadian-born Michael Zioff Bibeau, reported to have a history of drug use before converting to Islam.
But this week's events are a grim reminder that Canada is not immune to the types of terrorist attacks we have seen elsewhere around the world.
U.S. President Barack Obama spoke with Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper after the shooting.
Obviously, the situation there is tragic, but it emphasizes the degree to which we have to remain vigilant when it comes to dealing with these kinds of acts of senseless violence or terrorism. Very important, I think, for us to recognize that when it comes to dealing with terrorist activity, that Canada and the United States has to be entirely in sync.
Earlier in the week, Canada had dispatched fighter jets to Iraq and the U.S.-led campaign against ISIS, a move that could increase terror attack threats in the country. Ottawa lifted Parliament's lockdown late Wednesday evening, but police are cautioning people to stay away from the building as they continue to investigate.
Never before has an attack targeted Canada like it did on Wednesday, right in the heart of the capital. A Canadian soldier was killed. There's now no doubt this was terror.
Fellow Canadians, in the days to come, we will learn more about the terrorist and any accomplices he may have had.
The terrorists went on to storm the Parliament, which was in session, and open fire.
I don't know. There's a bunch of gunshots. A guy with a shotgun? Yeah, I saw him coming in. Where do we go? Where do we go?
The shooter, now dead, is reportedly an Islam convert. 32-year-old Michael Zahaf Bibo. As a Canadian citizen of Algerian origin, his picture has appeared on an ISIS Twitter account. Some media say he was recently deemed a high-risk traveler by the Canadian government. His passport had also been seized, and he had been convicted of drug-related crimes. This deadly shooting marked the second attack against soldiers in Canada in 3 days. A confirmed jihadist intentionally struck 2 soldiers Monday in Montreal, killing one of them. The guess is the attackers are retaliating against Canada for its policy in the Middle East. Well, Prime Minister Stephen Harper has no doubt who inspired the first attack.
By an ISIL-inspired terrorist.
Okay, so like massive quantities of BS.
Yeah, it just seems something you got to shake your head at.
Yeah, I know. But if you shook your head at everything the Conservatives did wrong, well, you'd probably need a chiropractor really quick.
Yeah, they're not really keeping the ball in the air that much. But of course, this is a great distraction for all kinds of other nefarious activities they may be up to.
And that's why we do what we do. Make sure you keep your cameras rolling and stay tuned. We know we've been gone for a little while. We're back again, and we got some really cool stuff to roll out now that we're out of studio.
You're Darren Howard.
And you're Robert Nisbet.
And we will be keeping our eye on the possibly forthcoming police state.
Yes, and we will have our act together a little better next time. So thanks for staying tuned. And while we were gone, we added another 1,000 views, and we're at over 80,000 views right now. So thank you very much for that.
And stay tuned for our mobile edition.
Yes, coming up.
Welcome to Leader 24/7, a week in the life of the ruler of Canada. Now, here's a quick montage of photo ops that really could have been the whole fucking show, but we're going to stretch it out. On Monday, Leader spoke at the Vancouver Board of Trade about trade stuff. That's all that happened. Seriously, it went smoothly. Then he created another repressed memory for his son Ben. On Tuesday, we held our daily raffle for the 3 reporters who were allowed to take pictures of the leader. Then we spent the afternoon looking for Asian people for this photo op. On Wednesday, Leader took part in a CSEC exercise simulating how easy it would be to spy on Canadians, but we would never ever do that. Here, Leader and Wife Leader show Canadians a visual metaphor about where the country is going. On Thursday, Leader met with the Conservative Youth Caucus to talk about pressing issues like sexting. Here, Leader is meeting with the only 4 people in Canada to find jobs in 2013. Later that day, we held our daily white people clapping meeting, while the press waited in our designated free speech area, the hall. Sometimes when Leader takes a nap, this asshole says something. Finally, we did a dry run with our fake media arms and media sound effects CD. This has been Stephen Harper 24/7, like that HBO hockey show. Except, conservative propaganda. Holy shit, this unpaid internship is totally not worth this.
Fútbol negro.
You understand I'm a police officer?
Pardon?
You understand I'm a police officer, correct?
Yeah, I know RCP.
Okay. No, I'm with Peel.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to sit down to watch the rest of it, or you're going to leave. So you can make a choice right now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? What's it going to be?
I'm probably going to leave.
Okay, then let's go.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Hang on, let me find my friends though. Huh?
They're outside.
You know?
I'm going to make an educated guess. Please pick up sweets, buddy. Please pick up sweets.
There they are.
What's that really?
Hang on, I'm waiting for my friends. I'm not doing anything wrong. What's up? I don't know where he's at.